222. We're just waiting for that to come online, and we'll be online. It's always a weird way this thing starts. Like, you get me singing because it says it's still loading, and then it's not, and then it is, and then it's not, and then it is, and I just want to make sure it's working. That's what I get for listening to. I'm listening to myself. I'm just checking that it's working. I'll see people pop up in the. See if people pop up in the chat. How is that for something like tongue twister? People popping up in the chat. People popping up in the chat. I don't even know what I'm doing. There's 24 people live. Mr. Anderson, thank you very much. Can you hear me? I just need to make sure that I can be heard, and that I might as well switch my camera over, and then we shall get on with it, I guess. If I can find my camera on my... No, the camera's not there, so I won't worry about that. I will just do that. Perfect. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Let's pop the chat out so that I can talk to you all. Awesome. Close that so I don't have to listen to myself anymore, because I'm already hearing myself far too many times. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Indeed, welcome to the Greatland Gold Studios. Studio 1 this evening. Those of you that were hoping to have a star-studded lineup, I'm afraid that it's not going to happen. We've got Stewie away, and Magic is otherwise engaged. So it's just me. However, I don't think that's a bad thing. Oh, yeah, I shaved. I not only have I shaved, but I put a hat on earlier and smashed my hair up too. So thanks. So yeah, it's just me this evening. But I don't think it's a bad thing, because when we go back 12 months and we look at this particular set of results that we had, we all came away from this feeling pretty sour and pretty beaten up by the lack of drill holes. So using that philosophy is what we've got going on. I'm not expecting very much at all from this evening. That's why I'm not even bothering with my shirt, and I've not done my hair. But yes, I have had a shave. So welcome. Who's need to mute everything now because it's just all noisy. It's probably YouTube emailing me to tell me I'm online. Yeah, well done for that. Thanks very much. So yeah, I think we only had 7 holes this time last year. But obviously there's a lot of excitement and a lot of anticipation for this evening, because we've got so much going for us. Eastern Breccia, I mean, what's not to be excited for about that? Every time they've put a drill through that, it's been really exciting. And I mean, we're all sat with a bated breath waiting for those 2 holes, or is it 3, up in the northern side of Javieron, be it Zipper or Javieron North. I mean, that's a can of worms waiting for that. And I think someone said just before we came off the chat that, and I'm not even sure who it was I was talking to, because I've had so many conversations today, but it hasn't got to be 100, and it hasn't got to be like a lump of gold. We just need to have something that says there's gold just over there. You know, and I think those of you that might have seen my conversation that I had with another director of another company a few weeks ago, he alluded to they're not chasing lumps of gold, they're chasing the flow. They want to see where it's going. So it's quite exciting in that sense, you know, to see how that's going. So I just need to open up my production. My production is now open. Let me say hello to the producer. Hello, producer. There you go. That's done. I think there might be... Yes. We also have, ladies and gentlemen, he will be heard. No. I will hear him, but you can't see him, unfortunately. Bamps is on hand, so we can get a live reaction straight out of Bamps to you guys. He's in the production chat on WhatsApp with the producer, so that's super. So, does anyone have any questions? I'm seeing loads of things coming through. Thanks for saying that you can hear me well. And there's a question there from the genius asking. There's an ironic moment there. How much copper have they found out now? No, John, just joking here. But you're the genius. Should you not know that? That's really funny. How much copper have they found recently? That's quite hard to say because the copper that we get is all in really small amounts, and I have a really lousy brain, so to have that answer right here and right now, I'm not quite sure. We'd have to go back and have a look at the latest MRE figures, but actually that's probably not a bad idea because we're going to have, what, 15-20 minutes to burn maybe. So let me just fire up the old Chromage. That's not going to work, is it? Chromage, thank you. We'll go to our website, actually, greatlandgold.com. Go full screen, please. Thank you. And I want to share screen, and I want to share screen 1 with sound. Yes, please. So, hopefully, you can now see this. So, I'm going to go to investors. I'm going to go to regulatory news, followed by JORC reports, followed by our resource update. So, and I can't see the questions right now, so please forgive me if I am not answering any questions. So, mineral resources increased to 5.5 million ounces, and please can someone keep an eye on the ASX website and let me know when it pops up. I'm sure the producer is, but... So anyway, mineral resources increased to 5.5 ounces of gold and 218 kilotons of copper. So the answer there, the genius, is 218 KT, presumably kilotons, Bamps, please, or 6.5 million ounces equivalent, which is an increase of 2.1 million ounces. Now, this is the bit that makes me laugh, is when you take that 2.1 million ounces... and knowing that gold right now is a shade under $2,000 an ounce, and you do those maths. I mean, I don't do maths, bottles should not do maths, but it blows my mind when we start looking at those numbers. With an initial mineral resource estimate in the Eastern Breccia, and that's interesting to me, because we have only had like 6 drill holes through there, so it's a real loose figure of what they're looking at, but they're obviously pretty confident with that. This is what we were looking for a few weeks ago. This is what we're looking for. There is 92 tons of ore. 92 tons? No, that's going to be millions of tons, isn't it? Where's Bamps when you need him to give you your prod on what you're saying? I mean, I'm not a person that deals with holes in the ground. What do I know? But anyway, we have 1.9 grams per ton of gold. See, it says it right there, it's grams per ton, with a percentage of 0.24%. And I mean, you can see it for yourself. I don't need to read this out word for word. It's there. The bottom line, 6.5 million ounces equivalent, which we need to make sure that we say because we don't want to get people overexcited or confused. So, it was a shock when this came out. Obviously, we were expecting it, and it never came out, and we wanted something to come. So, I was shocked when this came out. I'd kind of written it off and just decided we wasn't going to see it. But to see Sean and the team, good morning if you're watching, Sean. You should come and join us one day for one of these. That's just on the presumption that you are actually watching this at this time in the morning. So the initial thought here is the cutoff is the 2nd of December, which is amazing because that just means that anything after that date, so you have a few weeks into Christmas, and then it's my dog. Sorry, I could hear it through the microphones. Couldn't work out what he was up to. monkey. Um, and then you've got Had 104, and I'm just reading through this. I'm not going to start to make anything of it. I'm just I did no prep for this show. Can you tell? Um, and I mean, Bamps, have you got a word on this, please? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, apart from slowing down. So the reason why I came to the Jork version and not the main release is because the Jork version comes with some images, which I'll get to in a second. But the Eastern Breccia has got more gold inferred than the Northern Breccia. It's got more metal content. Oh, no, it hasn't. I'm looking at the wrong bits. It has a bit less, but we've only had, 6 holes, 8 holes, maybe? Producer says still nothing yet. So, I mean, I think this Eastern Breccia, it could end up being an absolute head scratcher for the geologists when they realise that actually they're on the wrong side of the dike and they need to get through the dike because there's actually potentially, and I am not qualified in any way, and I'm sure Magic, if he was watching or if he was here, would say probably the complete opposite. Let's be honest, he's the guy that knows exactly what he's talking about. But wonder if actually we should be on the other side of the dike because there seems to be a lot of gold over there. So we've had some huge increases. We've got 38,000 metres of infill drilling completed in the 10 months, and the growth drilling is up by another 21,000. And I mean, it's just exciting, isn't it? I don't understand how the market never reacted to the way it did. I think a lot of people suggested that, well, it was never going to anyway because the broker notes, and it's all priced in because they're 18 months ahead, and it's all worked out on 12 million ounces or something ridiculous like that, which suggests until you get to 12 million ounces, you're never going to get to 25p. I don't get why we price things in so far ahead. Because, let's be honest, the parrot could come along and stop the whole damn thing, in which case you've not priced it in. Like, you're making... Do you know what I mean? I try not to think of it like that, because you just end up beating yourself up and going crazy. But there is still a risk to this. The risk is it still may not happen. The chances of it not happening are very, very slim and slight. I mean, it's going to have to take a huge bloody thing to happen for it not to happen, because they're digging a decline, an exploration decline. I just put my hand in my tea. They're digging an exploration decline, and they're getting down there. Hopefully, it'd be good to see them over 300 metres, because if they're for the decline, because if they're over 300 metres, and that's a long not down, they're not down 300 metres, they're through the tunnel 300 metres, because just after that, I think 325, 350 is the hard stuff, which means they're going to start getting down properly and not. And the conversations I've had with a few people, it's like the time that you go to a beach and you start digging a hole with your hand, and you start getting your hand deeper and deeper and deeper. You know what I mean? Like with the kids, and you're going deeper and deeper, and and at some point, even though you've got this perfect tunnel, it just cannot support its own weight. So you have to really carefully just peel the sand away slowly, slowly. And they're having to go in and essentially paint the place with concrete. And I think Bamps was suggesting that they were also putting bolts through the roof everywhere. And then I suspect some kind of a cage. Do you know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Colin Firth, the dude that does all the engineering, because he's building a tunnel at the moment, and he's putting up like a wire mesh and a steel frame. And I guess the principle is kind of the similar sort of idea, just on a much grander scale. So here, look at this lovely picture. We've got this from Feb 21, and this in December 21, and 350. Oh, there you go. The producers just said, sorry, breaking myself off. 350 metres laterally would equate to 50 metres deep at a gradient of 1 in 7, which I think the mining plan alluded to. I mean, I don't really need to say much about those 2 images apart from just look at them and the detail. They've filled out much more on the left-hand side now, haven't they? And then there's the southeast crescent footprint, which has not even been considered yet. So the silence speaks for itself. And it's down, the southeast crescent's down to 1,250 metres down. And they're only down about 50 at the moment. Oh, so there should be some more. Here we go. That's almost like a bit of a 3D graphic bolted onto the side of that, isn't it? You've got oil reserves, the indicated, and then the inferred. Look at the amount of inferred on this on the PFS. Bamps has just said they're using a resin to harden the surround of the decline. I mean, it must be so soft. Must be so soft. I genuinely wish they could give us a leapfrog model of this in like a 3D format or a video, so that we can visualize it. I'm looking at my hands. You can't see my hands, but you know that it's a light bulb, isn't it? Bamps quite often talks about it being a light bulb, and it just would be so good for them to see, or for us to see, not them. They know what it looks like. We don't. So yada 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 yada. This is interesting. I thought this was pretty cool when you look at the plan view. So we're coming in from here, and then you've got this lovely curve that goes through the southeast crescent and some off tunnels. And this is exactly what Bamps was talking about when we went down with Sheila. That seems like a long time ago now. But we took Sheila down and she took us through, and you can see all the offshoot tunnels. And I genuinely want to get down there and have a look for myself. But look at this. Look how there's going to be a spiral going all the way through the different parts. Left and below red line is not the MRE. So Bamps has just said, it's so helpful having Bamps around, having someone that we know, that essentially all this here is not part of the MRE, which is why I think where we get so ahead of ourselves. So we already know it's 12 million ounces. You know, I mean, it's not given it's 12 million ounces, but it doesn't take a genius to work out that you're kind of pushing 10 to 12 million ounces there. But obviously they can't declare it until they have gone through due process. So we're like, oh yeah, it's 10 to 12 million ounces. The brokers are like, oh yeah, this is like 12 million ounces. Probably because they're looking at this. But reality is it's not. We're still only sat now at, what, 6.2. So I think that's the bit that we get carried away as investors, is because we are so on top of the news and we're so on top of what's going on and we're so knowledgeable as a collective, that the minute a piece of information comes out, we strip it, we rip it, we learn about it, and we know exactly what's what. But yet the rest of the machine is more like an oil tanker that just takes forever to get through and turn and stop and slow down. So it's crazy to think that we are only counting this bit that's red and blue, and that all this gold stuff's not even thought about yet, and they've still got to fill these bits in. That's just because it's white doesn't mean to say there's nothing there. So, and obviously that comes with time. I think Bamps he's showing me my image now. So we're back here again. And yeah, I mean they've got the spiral planned. Different fronts, which he did say, the man did say, they would go off to the right. Yes, I just went right. And and they will somewhere around here. I guess this bit here is gonna be the start of the spiral, which is what you can see here around figure 5. Excuse me. Now this is crazy. Let me just see if I can bring up what drive have I put that in? That one. And I need an old one. Oh, here we go. This is my original plan drawing with this in. So I put this on and kind of fiddled around with it. But look at the detail. Look how much that has changed over time. That is just immense, isn't it? What with the Northwest Pod? I don't want to shrink the sizes down, but yeah, I just thought I'd compare that for a moment. I've still got that song stuck in my head and I can't shake it. So this is from last year. In fact, oh no, not that one. That one. December, January and March from last year. So maybe I need to find that. I suppose we'll get that image today, won't we? So I've got Bamp sending me another message saying the mining plan doesn't include this pink blob, which is what we may have tonight. So Bamps is suggesting that what we might see is some more information on the southeast crescent, the deeps, the southeast crescent footprint, the crescent deeps, which is what we've got in here. How did I miss this image last time? They're still talking about HAD 104. I mean, that is a amazing hole, isn't it? HAD 104. And look how that sits off of here. Here's your crescent. Oh, look at this. I've not seen this bit before. I guess they're talking about having some more tunnels through the middle of it. So is that the eastern breccia? I think we have to think about it as looking northwest, which means they are. Well, they've got their back to the southeast crescent as if they're looking at it, so they're standing as if, looking northwest. Which means anything over to the right is going to be at the east. Bamp says, I don't know if this will. I wonder if it'll let me save that, because I think everyone should see that. It's in my downloads folder. So if I just bring up my downloads folder, I got any songs stuck in my head, and I'm stuck with. Oh, it's not that one. Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. All because of the bloody BBC News article I was reading before I came online. I didn't even hear the song. It's just what they were talking about. Hello, where are you? There we go. Thank you. Hopefully you can see that. And Bamp says, always sending me another one, that this is bigger than my lower ovoid period. I mean, that is massive. The sizes that Bamps has been talking about when he talks about the football pitches and like 650 metres wide and 1,300 metres long. Am I right in saying that? That's big. This picture right here that you're looking at right now is bigger. It is bigger than the measurements that Bamps has managed to work out of it. Boom. I mean, that's crazy, which ties into a question Andrew has. What's your latest resource figure after MI2, 50 or 60 million ounces? I think, and there is a lot of conversations that have been had with other people, especially the man in the production office right now, because he does a lot of these figures, that I think life of mine, 50 million ounces has to be considered. And that's life of mine. You might not ever find out about that for another 30 or 40 years. But I think it's hard not to see how it can't be with the amount they find and keep finding. And that's the thing, isn't it? This is open in every direction still. And even when you look at this image here, they are finding gold outside of where they're looking. These little red blobs that all appear are gold over 1 gram per ton. He's a legend, isn't he? Look at this. Let me just... Oh, wasn't asking me. I'm sorry, I just assumed it was me he was asking. So that question was for Bamps, not for me. And I just thought it was for me. I just actually thought he was asking me. I'm not reading the chat at the moment, sorry. We'll get Bamps' opinion in a moment. So let's just close that. And I want to download this image. There it is. Look at this. So, Bamps says, as I just close that, red is where 104 is. I mean, that's the crazy part, isn't it? Is had 104 sits out under here, which does that makes like it's in no man's land. That's the beauty. This is the exciting part for me. The Eastern Breccia is where it's at. It really is. There's just so much data that they need to find out from there, and it can very, very quickly change this entire thing. Some of us were comparing mines, and the top 10 mines in the world that have got current ore reserves, and already we're pushing number 6 and number 7 with our 6.2 million ounces. We're already in the top 10 around the world of gold mines. Now we've got to go some to get to, I think it's Lahire. I think it's number 1 at 32 million ounces. But, and yet you can pick this up for a paltry 15.4p per share. Are you kidding me? I appreciate it's only for 30% of a gold mine, but still, come on everybody, where are you? Why are you not buying Greatland Gold shares? Well, I know why. It's because you want to go and enjoy your rainbows elsewhere. But I digress. So, I've still not Phil's answer. Let's come back to my ugly mug. Hello, sorry, I'm back. Let's get off the full screen from that. So, yeah, what was I saying? 15.4b, wasn't it? I don't know. Just, it's mind-boggling, isn't it, when you look at this? But I suppose when you look, what you really need to happen is you need the private investors to bugger off, and the institutional investors who don't care what they pay for their shares to turn up. Now, that's not going to happen until a few months before the ore starts getting dug out the ground, so another year. But we know what this is worth. We know what this is valued at. And whilst we are all on our own journeys and we should be all doing our own thing, I can't imagine that any serious investor that's invested their time in this is going to let their shares go for a pittance. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to have a mass sellout at a price. I'm not even going to say a price. I'm just going to say a price, when they full well know that what they're sitting on is worth 2-3 times that. I guess we just need to let time sort itself out. Time's on our side. If you don't need to sell and it's not part of your plan, because I'm trying to word this in a way that doesn't make that sound like I'm trying to say what people should or shouldn't do. It's your money, you do what you got to do with it. I'm going to use my pointy finger. Do you know, does that make sense? I mean, in the chat there, does that make sense what I'm saying? That, you know, if you've got the investment and you've got the time to wait and you're happy to wait, you're not going to let this go for a price when you know it's worth so much more. All you've got to do is wait. I appreciate Paddy says sit in your hands, and that's one good way of putting it, but we just have to wait. Now, I'm running out of things to say, so I'm hoping that very, very shortly the ASX is going to give us something to talk about. Does anyone have any questions? Let's do that. Yes, I would love to. Do you know what I'd love to do? Make it part of the tour of Perth, especially when we hit a pound, because then I won't have to pay for my plane ticket because someone's promised me a plane ticket to Perth when we hit a pound. So is to go to Perth, is to then go up to Telfer to take a ride out in a right rickety old ute to Javier on, is be given a tour by Sheila, get taken down, enjoy that, and then on the way back out, stop off at the Perth Mint and buy myself a nice cheeky little coin that's been mined from Javier on. That would be pretty sweet. That would be a heck of a trip. Speaking of trips, I am going to be going on tour in August. I've got nowhere set yet, but we're going to do some live. I don't want to say live shows because it's not going to be recorded or anything. Although there's a thought. I've been part of a few of those. I'm going to be coming on tour. I'm going to come around and meet some of you because I think that would be nice. So there was a meet this week down towards the southwest, and quite a few of our members, both on LSE and on the Telegram group, all got together in a pub and had a chat. So apparently it was really good fun, and it was nice for people to meet. And obviously we have the Stag Gang, who Evening Tig, if you're watching, who meet quite regularly, and I think they've extended an invite out to Sean. So, Mr. Anderson, question, Liam, is there any realistic chance NCM are playing games right now? Well, I mean, we could talk about this one for hours and hours and hours and hours. In my opinion, no, they're better than that. I can't see why anyone of their stature and nature would muck around playing games. They have a business to run. They're not in it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just can't. It doesn't make sense as to why they would play games. And I appreciate some people suggest that, well, they want the cheap shares, want to get them cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But is it really worth it? There's too much at risk. There is so much at risk. And if they was to do the dirty on us, they won't ever get another JV. Not easily. Why would anyone want to go with them if they're just going to get screwed over? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm sure there are people out there that have 100 different other reasons as to why they are. But to me, I don't buy it. So, but as I say, we could debate that one for many, many, many hours. And I'm sure for every reason that I can find, somebody else would find a very valid reason as to why they are. Yeah. So, it's interesting. Should we take a look at... let me just check my... oh, I love it. That's a 4200 level. Let's have a look at... should we have a look at the satellite feed? Because I'm not sure we have looked at the satellite feed. I mean, I know I looked yesterday, but... we've not looked for ages, have we? You're not viewing my screen yet, though, are you? You're still looking at my ugly mug. Sorry. Share screen. Told you it was still stuck in my head. I think you should now be able to see a map of the UK. Let me close out way too many windows open. Hopefully you can now see a map of the UK. Javier on. When was the last satellite? The 7th, the 6th of typical. Well, 3 days ago. Bosh. Slava Ukraini indeed. So, look at that. Yes, she is. Very colourful. This is interesting. Look at this. This looks like this could be a structure of some kind. Right here is our air vent. and they're going. I think they've changed the way they're doing it again. I think originally they were going to go down to come up, and now I think because of the Earth, they're having to do it a slightly different way, and I can't remember exactly how they're going to do it, so I'm not going to try and get clever or smart. But right there is the air vent they're putting in for our entire crescent zone. If we just do that, and I think what we'll do is we'll go back in time quite a bit to the 14th of February should do it. So like what, 2 weeks ago? I missed all this. Right, so what we've had since is they've obviously had some rain. So this here is all water. It's all quite flooded. And then what's happened since then is we've had even more water. And as you can see, it's all running off here. This is the WRL, which is the waste land reform. A massive mound of earth, basically. So, yeah, when we look at what we've got drilling-wise going on, they're still doing something here. I mean, it could just easily be a bore, couldn't it, where they're dewatering. We've got a collection of offices in the middle, and we've still got drill rigs going on. I think there's 1, 2, 3 there. We've got the 2 up here, which are going to be coming in this way. Now, whether they're coming into the eastern breccia or if they're going for the southeast crescent deeps remains to be seen. This looks like it could be a drill hole at some point. I don't think that's active just yet. There's no... See how you've got this little dot? That tends to be the water pool. They've got one... See one there? There's a bit of blue there. Bit of blue there. That's kind of what we look for in terms of a cooling pool for the rods, the drills. So there's definitely something just here, isn't there? I mean, it's easy to say. So here's our 3 northern holes that we're hopefully going to get this evening. Something there. What's that? I mean, it could just be, but I mean, the ground's changed colour, so you can't... what's that one? There you go. I mean, when we're doing this, we are just looking for the smallest changes sometimes. It can be really hard to see, and even then, I mean, I know Paddy, Evening Paddy, he changes colours, and that sometimes helps him find some of the things he's looking for. Here's next door's holes, and they're back drilling again, going back after those, so we're excited to see those. And obviously they've got these 3, which must be going straight down. I can't remember the dip. They've got one up here as well on their land, and then the one all the way out here, which maybe is going across this way. I don't know. Oh, there's the other one. I knew there was another one somewhere. So there's all their holes. There's our holes. What's this? Who knows? So we've got Teach we're waiting for. That's down here. That was a Teach hole. We've not had those drill results yet. In fact, maybe that's what that is left over. And I am waiting, and I know I keep saying it, but I am waiting for these 2 lonely souls all the way up here, which, no, I think they're higher up than that still. Oh. Ooh, look at all these. I haven't seen those before. Don't get distracted. Let's pull up Scallywag. So this is the original tenement as it was when Greatland picked it up in 2016, before the 12 blocks were siphoned off. And it is these 2. Artichutsis. Old squid features. Because that sits right perfectly when you put a ruler across it from here, oh no, to here, at a wonderful 33 degrees from north, is a northwest trend. So I'm keen to find out what goes on over there. I've broken this now, look. Please, can we have these? Do you know what, right? I know someone said, someone think that Newcrest are playing games. I genuinely think they do. I think Sandeep Biswas is sat in his office right now, right? I'm up on his screen. Let's just assume he's sat in his office. No, don't assume. I hate the word assume. But let's just, well, I know. He's sat in his office. This is my narcissistic side coming out now. He's got me on a 50-inch screen in his office, or maybe in the boardroom, and they're all sat around having breakfast watching me talk nonsense. And they are purposely delaying these more and more and more and more and more to make me talk more and more bollocks. I'm sorry I said it. I appreciate. I shouldn't swear. You know, it is after 9 o'clock after all. Kids go to bed. But do you know what I mean? Like, what used to be a 20 past 9, 9:30, 9:45, 10 o'clock. I think we went for nearly 85 minutes last time around before we finally got the RNS. So, I have been asked if SD gets over to the UK next month, are you going to try and get a live interview, Liam, as you did with ARV? I'm going to say to you, watch this space. But I cannot confirm or deny. Moxie, welcome to the chat. So, I can't remember what I was saying now. I was just going to look at ASX myself. Let's come back to my... because the other thing that's not happened yet is no one's released any 2022 drill plans, have they? No one's actually said what they're going to do for 2022 with the drilling season, which must be coming up soon. We must be starting to have a plan. Now, I wonder if we're going to get these drills from Artemis. Once Artemis, because obviously the drills, well, not obviously, it wasn't obvious, but time-wise, it made sense when you looked at it, that our drills finished down here at Teach, and then they went straight over to Artemis. At least that's how it's appeared. So I would deduce that they're going to finish drilling just here, and hopefully go straight over to Artitusis to do those now, unless NCM have the drills first, in which case I would like to think that whatever has tickled their fancy between Black Hills, Saddle Reef, and Patterson Range East, Goliath, Los Diablos, and all those is where they will go. I would love to think that the first place they go is the place that interests them the most. I think that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? I think that is what makes the most sense. So I think you'll see Saddles Reef get drilled first, personally. I know they're like Black Hills, but I think Saddle Reef is what they'll look at first. Because it's all open. This is the thing, although none of it has yet been... Even Scallywag has not yet been written off as a there is no gold here. It's all to play for. There is so much that can happen over the next 5 years with this. And that's quite exciting. I think that's really quite exciting. So, yeah, one thing we have to be aware of is this all here, all this blue stuff. This is the salt flats. And it's teeming with wildlife. So what we don't want is a whacking great big hole out of Teach, or a whacking great big drill out of Teach, because I think that'll be quite hard to get to with all the wildlife stuff going on. So, yeah, that's about the size of that for our wonderful little Javieron. It's hard to think that a year ago this was just a little lump of, it's like this, wasn't it, really? As they were starting to dig it all out. Yeah. Any more questions? I really am struggling for stuff to talk about right now. I could babble on forever, but really don't want me babbling on. Or do you? I don't care. I used to make podcasts of me babbling on forever. So anyway, back to May. So yeah, obviously we've got the backdrop going on. I've tried to play a little bit more with the light, so hopefully it's a little bit less. In fact, it's flickering, isn't it? I can see that. I need more lights. I want to have a whole thing. I want more lights, and I'm not sure Mrs. BR wants me to turn the living room into a TV studio, though. There was enough said when the green screen went up. What are you doing with that monstrosity? So, it's not a permanent feature, so we kind of got away with it. Right, ASX, where's that? Now, the other thing to note, and someone raised a question yesterday, and a week from now, we've got our interim results coming out. So there's a lot of information to come out about Greatland Gold. I guess a lot of it will be finance-based. And that's literally a week away, on the 16th of March, he says, looking up at the calendar. Yeah, 16th, Wednesday the 16th of March. You can see that, because there is a lot more on this website now. I didn't realise. But you can go to Investors Financial Calendar. The interim results due next week. So it's something to look forward to, isn't it? Unless you're like me and are allergic to numbers. Because let's be honest, that's what I really am. Yeah. Let me just check the other group. Oh dear, someone's watching me on their big screen TV. Spooky. No, I think my other verified members group is starting to get bored. Ah, dearie, dearie me. Right. NCM, where are you? It is going to be another. We're going to start going later for these things, aren't we? If we don't. If we keep doing it, we don't need me wobbling on for an hour, especially if there's no guests in the studio. I appreciate some of it's interesting, but hey, saucy. Just start taking random RNSs in a minute and start reading them to you. In fact, there's probably, you know what, that's probably not a bad idea. You could probably do I'm just side segueing now. A YouTube channel for the blind, the visually impaired, that can't read RNSs. And mind you, having said that, they've probably got computers to do it for them these days. But you know what I mean? You could read people RNSs as a service. That's quite a genius idea, that. But then with the amount of RNSs, you'd have to be quite clever as to which ones you take to read to people. I suppose you'd have to specialise, wouldn't you? That would be the easy way of doing it. Wowzers. Let's just have a look at this. I really don't care about the company. And I'm sorry if you own shares in this company, but the headline grabbed my attention and feel that we should all share this moment because it's a... What company is it? Carawine Resources. Anyway, check this out. 4 metres at 40.1 grams per tonne from 239, including our 1 metre at 137 grams per tonne. But it's only 1 metre. And then 1 metre at 23 points. So they've got some right lumpy bits of gold in there, haven't they? Lucky old you. Oh, I'm not going to read the rest of it. I was just interested by that. But can you see how they've got... It's all... yeah. Whereas we end up with like 60, 70, 120 metres at 6.7 grams a tonne. That really does make the difference for us. Is it's not just little pockets of gold. We've got huge sections of the stuff. Boom. As he smashes his F5 button again. So we're now at 9 o'clock in the morning in Sydney. and we've got about another 15 minutes to go before the results arrive. And oh, that's all just moved up. I'd like to know if there's any nickel. Well, funny you should say that, Richard. There is nickel. Well, I mean, there is nickel, but what we don't know is how much nickel there is. And obviously, anyone that's been keeping tabs these last few days, nickel has stopped being traded on the London Exchange because the prices got so silly that they couldn't keep up with where it was going and stuff. So they've stopped selling it. So, yeah. Question. If NCM are not playing games, why did GGP need to release their own MRE update? Well, I mean, that comes back to the MRE that they released. Because, and I could be paraphrasing here and getting this completely wrong, the PFS, as far as they was concerned, was enough. Because obviously they're working on this much smaller. They're looking at a much smaller window, aren't they? They're not interested in the whole tonnage at the moment. All they're interested in, strictly from an operational point of view, is getting the mine live. So they're looking. The original MRE, they had to do an MRE before they could do a PFS. They did the MRE 12 months plus ago. They've then done a PFS, which has given them what they need. So as far as they were concerned, there was no need to release an MRE. I think it's as simple as that, really. You can read into the language of the RNS that they put out, but let's be honest. And I said this in the chat at the time, and I'll say it now. I've been with my good lady for the best part of 22 plus years, and I still misread a text message from her because you can't interpret people's tone on a written message. People are trying to subtract. Yeah, you can read it in so many different ways. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not sure that you can take anything from a written piece of paper and make that assumption. So there was no need for an MRE. We've now forced their hand, and they're going to have to release an MRE. We have a right to an MRE. Please don't think I don't believe that. I think as a company and as Greatland Gold, we deserve a yearly MRE update. As shareholders, we're entitled to that information. Maybe it was a bit short-sighted on NCM's part to disregard that. You could say that. Will they do it in the future? Do you know what they might do? They might take, they could quite easily say, do you know what? We'll just release you an MRE and here's our updated figures. But, so, yes, what else we got? We haven't, I'll read that one. On your own tonight. Yes, unfortunately, Magic didn't think he could make it. I think he's otherwise engaged on a Wednesday evening, so it does make it a bit hard. How easy/hard is it to get hold of rigs? I think it's quite hard to get hold of rigs, and actually what's probably even harder these days is people to use the rigs and operate the rigs. Quite a high turnover of staff. I mean, who wants to work at 50 degrees Celsius? I know that DDH1 have been buying other companies, probably to get their hands on rigs. Could we get our own rigs? Yes, we could, but then comes a whole heap of other problems, because then as a company you need to pay for all their welfare, all their costs, the drill, the maintenance, yada 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 yada. So I think in this sense it's much easier to subcontract that out to a company that does that. That is what they do. They do drilling, they look after their people in the best way possible, and all that. So hitting the refresh. Nope. So there's some right old random headlines. Oh, there's a button there that says refresh announcements. I don't need to hit F5. Okay. So hopefully in the next 5 minutes we'll have something else to talk about. I do wonder, though, and this is just for now, the 5% is coming, and I'm not going to talk about the 5% because I am so done with the 5% chat. It is driving me potty. But the 5% is coming. Let's take the opinion that there will be enough money to pay off loans, and we'll have enough money to go and do stuff with that money. In the chat right now, one word, or two, if it's one, where would you operationally go and drill? Would you go to Bromus, where you know you've got cobalt and nickel? Would you go down to Ernest Giles, where you know Callum has been desperate to do something proper with that since 2005? Would you drill up Scallywag because it's close? Would you go down to Rudel? Would you go off to Tabletop because you got that massive magnetic anomaly down there, which, believe it or not, boys and girls, is on the same northwest trend line as Javieron, Black Hills, all the way up to Winu. Is it Winu? Minyari? One of those. I don't know. I get confused when you start talking about everybody else's. What would you do? Let's see some. They were this late last time. So, come on, one word. Ernest Giles, yeah, boy. I like that, yeah, boy. Nice. That's pretty cool. They were this time last year, so yeah, they were this time last year. Is there an upcoming presentation for Short Schedule? Well, there was one for last night, but he cancelled that with the idea that he would do one live for us with London South East as a company in the back end of what do you call it? What's this month called? March. Deary me. Right, Paul says NCM. Oh, Scally is a game changer with NCM. Well, I mean, I've always thought so. I think there is still gold down there. I think they just need to find it. But obviously, it's a needle in a haystack job, isn't it? You know, it's not that easy just to stick a drill down and go, oh, look, there it is. SP says EG. I mean, for me, yeah, I agree with you. Ernest Giles is where I would probably go. But unlike anything else in the Patterson and that entire area between Telfer and Javieron and the surrounding space, if you go down to Ernest Giles and you find a shit ton of gold, which is basically what we want, it is completely greenfield exploration. So we would have to capex everything. Which obviously is a lot of money. That's going to need a runway. It's going to need infrastructure. It's going to need everything, which would be nice. I think for Sean to reach his dynasty potential and what he wants for his championship manager moment of a dynasty. That's what he wants, isn't it? That's what you really want, isn't it? Is to take a company from nothing, and when you retire in 25, 30 years' time, I don't know how old Sean is, by the way, is to look back and you've got this massive mine that you're responsible for, that you've built, and when you turned up there was nothing. And I think that would be the dream for majority of geologists and those in the mining industry that have served it for their life. Yeah, I like the idea of Ernest Giles. Richard, yeah, and I wasn't around then, so it is hard for me to comment. And Newman were very interested, and that's true. I mean, Stewie will tell you exactly how exciting it was. But at least this way, if we do go down there and we do drill it, we'll find out for ourselves and we'll get a definitive answer of what is down there. Because I don't think anyone actually knows, do they? Anyone that was around then? Do you know what's down there at Ernest Giles? I want to say 5, but I don't know where that number's come from. If that's one I've made up, which is highly likely, or not, I don't know. Um, Zipper. Yeah, but the problem with Zipper, it's not a problem, but Zipper is part of the 12 blocks of Javieron. So as long as that's inside the 12 blocks of Javieron, that and there's gold there, that will get drilled anyway. If they can work out a way of getting to it, then they will. Couldn't you want interest in EGB if gold moves towards 2,500? Who knows? The problem you've got with that and looking at the gold price is you need to factor in the gold. What's it called? Wave. It's not a wave. The crest. Do you know what I mean? Like the ups and downs, the crests and the falls and all that business. Because Pam says wishbone. You sarcastic git. Yes, gold is much higher now, and gold is predicted to go higher in the future. But are you going to be on the ore at the time when the gold is at its highest? Or if you're not careful, you're going to be in the danger of getting to the. And I don't know how deep it is at Ernest Giles. I've not. I'm sure Bamps will mention it in a minute. But you don't want to be getting to the ore just in time for gold to start going down in price, because then it becomes a bit of a pain in the ass, and you start losing money on it. At least compared to what the gold is worth now. Still could be value. Still could be profitable. Let's not say that it's not going to be. But it's the bit that's unwritten that's important. I think so. I agree with you there, Lazy Days. Wishbone was the answer to the tenement name you couldn't remember. Oh. No, because Wishbone's another company, isn't it? Sorry, production chat. Tilt, tabletop. Rudel, I think it was the one I was thinking about. Or the new one, Prince something. Oh, Sandeep, you are killing me. Oh, here comes the explanation. So we have our own Wishbone. Wishbone is part of Ernest Giles, where the best MMI results are. All right, I get that now. Thank you very much. This has 15 minutes. And we will knock this on the head if there is no live show. This only happened to us once before. Warrantina. Ooh, that's an interesting shout. That's a great shout. We're not hanging on to those Tasmanian assets. Just hang on to them, are we? Could that be an easy way to unlocking further money? I mean, I don't know how shallow it is there. If it's shallow enough, you can get to it easy enough. Why not? Yeah. What if there's anything going on hot copper? Newcrest. So, I saw Alf on Home and Away today and thought it looked like Sean's dad. Alright then. I can't really comment on that. I've not seen Home and Away in the best part of 25 years. Well, it looks like Newcrest have completed the acquisition of Platinum Resources. That's a shame. Have I approached... Do you know what, R12R? I would love to interview Callum. I would dearly love to interview Callum and sit down with him for a really casual chat and talk about his entire story. And I don't know if it would annoy people or not, but I have absolutely no interest of anything after Had 5. I want to know that entire front part of his life. That's what I would talk about. That's what I would. Sorry, the message that popped up in chat just blew my mind. Please don't talk about other shares. Just no. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, I would love to know about that front part of his life. I think that would be truly fascinating to find out his life story. Wow. Sandeep Biswas is wetting himself at the moment. How did we get this? We've not got this wrong. We've not got this wrong, have we? Projects, heavy investors, news. I'm just gonna check that. I wonder if we can get into him. So the interim results last year came out on the 9th of March. They were on the 4th of March the year before that, and the 13th of March the year before that. So, we've definitely got the right week, at least in terms of our history and stuff. I just think Newcrest are slow planners. Sorry, chat, hilarious. Do I think Newcrest are playing games with Greatland Gold? No. Do I think Newcrest are playing games with me and the rest of the production team and you? 100% yes, I do. Oh, dear. So, yep. So I'm now just like with it all. I'm at a loss as to what else to say. Really, I mean, it's been a really quiet 2022, isn't it? You know, we've had so much going on over the last 2.5 years with all the lockdown and what's not. Let's not get into that. And then you've got this new nonsense that's going. Any in chat have any idea how easy NI refining is in comparison to CU? That's a really good question. But just know that their metallurgy is set up for copper and not NI, so they would have to really configure their whole plant. But I can certainly get a detailed question sent out somewhere, and we can find that out. That's a great question. Newcrest are being as awkward as possible. I don't think they are, James. I do not think for an instant they are, but we've already mentioned that. So, oh, the producer says I need to give it another 20 minutes, not 10. Oh, dear me. Okay, we can do that. I have no issue with talking for another 20 minutes. Do you know what, Choddy? You are one of the most cynical, and I mean this in the nicest way possible. I've been with you now for the best part of 2 years, so this isn't just me saying this, but you are definitely one of the most cynical, sarcastic people that I have met on these boards, and it really is sarcasm is the highest form of wit, and just makes me laugh. The comments that come out sometimes are just hilarious. So now, has anyone got any information? Excuse me. Has anyone got any information on the horse Javier on? How's that doing? I really do need to back that horse more often. Does anyone know when its next races? Because I think we should back that horse. It ran, and it I nearly said wan again now. It ran and it won at some point late last year. So I'm interested to see what the game-changing news is. Oh, Matt's nasal hair. Shh. I can deal with that. Oh, why can't I delete it? And so anyway, where are you all? I'm doing all the talking. Why don't you do some talking for a change? Let's get away from this UFO nonsense. Where are you in the world? Who is the furthest person away right now? Let's have a look. Throw in your city names, and let's see where people. Yeah, where are you from? Please, where are you from? Not that I want to know like exactly where you're from. You can be sort of generalist if you so wish. Choose a city that's like 30 miles to the north or whatever. I don't need to be getting into stuff. Do you know what I mean? But I want to know, like, have we got anyone from around the world? I know we sometimes have some people in from Melbourne and stuff. So, and I don't know what the delay is between me asking questions and it appearing in chat. Devon, nice. I was down that way. Well, I was in Bristol a few weeks ago, but I've been to Devon, Kent, Yorn. Where's that? I'm not sure I've been anywhere near Yorn. He's in Telford. Hilarious. I will say why I to the dude from Newcastle. I'm in LA. Oh, sick brag. Dudley, LA, Stourbridge, Bath, Liverpool, Newcastle, Sevenoaks. Albert Docks, Albert. Banbridge, Northern Ireland. Telfar. Oh, Frank. God, how do I say that? Ticehurst. So have you asked him, could Coffee with Callum be a rival to Brew with Bamps? It'd still be a brew a bottle. That would be the name of the show. But have I? No, because actually getting to Callum is really quite hard. I mean, I've not asked the question, but it's easier for me to put it this way. It's easier for me to talk to Sean than it is to talk to Callum. But at the same time, I guess there's no reason why I couldn't say to Sean, "Hey, Sean, that dude that's semi-retired over there." So, yeah. Where am I? I am currently in Javieron. Oh, let's just move that out of the way. So there you go. Look, there's me at Javieron. I am somewhere on the planet Earth. Oh, look at that. That's going to be in Wales, I think. Pen. This is someone's going to make a bloody gif out of this. Or a meme. Penmanoir. Oh, Dean, what's your? If we play golf, do you play? I mean, are you there? Do you play? Do you know what? And then there was always going to be the funny person that decided to put me down for land fling wheeling and near giddy go. I knew that was coming. Am I doing an interview with Sean Day in the near future? I cannot confirm nor deny that. Is my official line on that. I've lost the NCM announcements. Oh, there's a place called Rosie Resources. Is he? Yeah, I know, right? Nottingham, Leamington Spa, Cheadle. Oh. Oh. Swansea, Fwelly. I retracted it. Well, if he moved. If you do. What? I'm missing the comments. Hang on a second. If you do go to show the company is a shambles, which company? Is he buggery? Why can't I find the first comment? Who are you referring to, Erwell? Please let me know, because that doesn't make sense. Bromley. Look, we got people from all over the UK. We should do one of those map things that puts people down. 10 minutes and we're knocking this on the head. But it's nice to see you all gelling and getting along. I hope you are having a laugh. Oh. Oh, Stephen. I'm sorry to hear that. I have quite a few of those t-shirts. Another 10 minutes, folks. And we've had a fine old time. I think he's referring to the interview with Sean Day. What, so you don't think... Sorry, am I just reading that right? You don't think that can do an interview with Sean Day? I don't think you can judge a book by its cover. I don't think you can assume that just because the live result shows go one way that I can not do any other kind of interview. I think I proved myself very inept when it came to the Artemis Resources interview. And I don't think for a minute that just an interview with me is any different to an interview with any of the other companies out there that do the interviews that are just as big a shambles as what I can do. So, I took the bait. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't think you can really justify that the company's a shambles just because they're doing an interview with someone. I sat down to eat last night at the Stroud, and the chap opposite me lives 100 yards away. That's hilarious, Bamps. That is absolutely hilarious. Dip. Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I genuinely don't know what to say to that. Because at the same time, you don't see me do the other interviews that I do. You don't see me working with the other companies that I work with and stuff. So, who are you to judge? You know what I mean? It means nothing. Probably the same bloke that got kicked out last time, isn't it? So we currently have another 7 minutes. Whoop whoop. Maybe this is NCM like saying, do you know what? We're going to do things differently. No one's quite sure what is going on. And you know what's really pissed me off? My tea's gone cold. I'm still drinking my tea and it's gone cold. The danger now is the fact that something comes up and we go for another hour and a half with a cold bloody cup of tea, I tell you. So what will happen now is we won't actually plan on having the show. We won't plan on having the next show we will literally react to an announcement coming out from MCM. So the minute, if this doesn't happen this evening, the minute it comes out, boom, I'll get online as fast as I can, and we will we'll put you a show on, and we'll go through results. Hopefully, we can grab someone that can talk about things a lot better and a lot easier than I can. The missus has gone to bed. She sees these things. She sees me as going live at 9 o'clock as an excuse to go to bed early. She's probably soundo by now. So, and someone's not very well. See, compulsory. I've got this theory. I've got this theory about hot toddies, and I know there's all kind of theories with them. But I got to the point where I got bored of hot toddies. So now when I'm not well, I just sink a shot. I just pour myself one out. Usually like quite a fan of like a bit of Jim Beam or Jack. I'm probably more of a Jim than a Jack fan. It's because they do like I mean, I haven't got any at the moment, which is a real shame. But in America, you can get it with cinnamon. Jim with cinnamon. And when that bad boy goes down your throat, it sets you on fire, and then you're gone, out for the count. Out for the count. And I sleep like an absolute baby. Well, a baby that sleeps anyway. So there's a few questions coming through. Could they? Yeah, do you know what? They could. Maybe it's something that's been done. I did actually fire off an email to our leader in chief and ask him the question, but he sadly never came back to me. He says checking this to see if he's sharing his screen still. Let me just check my email and see. No. So I feel like there's been some bonding going on in the chat tonight. It's lovely to see. Lovely to see. So for those that have just joined us, I'm going to be doing some tours. I'm going to do like a UK tour. And I'm probably going to do 3 or 4 meets up and down the country. Don't call us, we'll call you. Sort of thing. So I haven't got anything planned. I'm not even sure when. Likely August, because that's going to be the easiest thing to do with the children. Or the easiest time to do something with the children, so that I'm free to do what I want to do. And are they obliged to give them as part of? That's a really great question, DK. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they are obliged to. It's an interesting one. I mean, we could insert your reasoning here. I found my turnip. I didn't know you'd lost a turnip. SB getting his P45. Ouch! I mean, that would really shake things up. Come to Scotland. Do you know what? I've never been to Scotland. That's a really sad thing to say. And I've been... You won't believe how close I got to the border. And I never crossed the border, and I really should have done, just so I can say I've been to Scotland. But yeah, maybe I will. Paul makes a great point there. Newcrest Results. I mean, yeah, their own shareholders will be looking for these results as well. They probably don't even want it. So, but with the whole Scotland thing, there is one of the members of there's only one person from the whole of the GGP community that I've met in real life, and he's from that part of the world. So undoubtedly, I will be going up to see him and making one of my stops north of the border. But yeah, what I will probably do is let's just think about this out loud right now. Right where we're talking about it. We'll go to the Stag. Why not? We will go out to Stroud and catch that southwest caption. I know for a fact that we have got a bunch of people living in the Midlands, so somewhere between Birmingham and Manchester would probably work quite well. And then finally, somewhere further up. Maybe I'll fly. I like flying. I love flying. Well, you can get some flights in there. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I see a 4-day trip coming up. Just meeting Greatland Gold people. Why not? Sounds like a hoot. And the dog knows it's time for some dinner. Come here, then. Up. Oh, you're not in the shop, mate. No one can see you. You got to come closer. Come closer. Come closer. I can't see if you're in there. If you've made. Oh, you're missing it, aren't you? Come here. Come here. This is Baxter. Come here. Hey, Baxter. Baxter's a Labradoodle, but he's not called Baxter. Well, you'd think he's called Baxter. So, oh, good boy. Down you get. Down you get. Yeah, he's not called Baxter because of Callum. We had Baxter before I had Greatland Gold Chairs. Just a weird thing. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I tried. Alistair, what did you miss? You missed a whopper, dog's still there. You missed an absolute whopper of an evening. I cannot believe you missed the last hour and a half of just what can only be described as the best comedy show on YouTube this year. Nay, this decade. It's an appalling show that you just couldn't be bothered to come and watch it any earlier. I am just heartbroken. No, you missed nothing, actually. They didn't even bother to turn up. Newcrest, no show. So, yeah. Anyway, listen, while you're here, do me a favour. Look down. See that thumbs up button? Smash it. Give me a thumbs up. Have you hit that subscribe button yet? No, I don't intend to do it either, but give me a subscribe. It would be amazing to up our subscription base. I never thought for a million years that I would have a YouTube channel, because I have got 5 or 6 YouTube channels that had anywhere near the number of subscribers that I've got. And fun fact, we've actually got more subscribers than some of those channels that Sean Day has previously been on for interviews. Just let that sink in for a moment. We have more subscribers than they do. Anyway, right, last refresh. Right, so give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you can get a notification whenever we go live. I won't spam you with nonsense. Not from YouTube anyway, not on this channel. Alistair was playing football. It's probably not a bad dude. A bad choice, that dude. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for stopping by and spending your evening with me. I really appreciate the time that you've taken to sit and just listen to me waffle on for the last 90... It's more than 90 minutes now, isn't it? We're pushing on for... hour. We're pushed on for 90 minutes. Yeah. So, and that, I think, is that. So, without further ado, the next time we get a Newcrest announcement to say, yes, here are our drill results, I will be live as quickly as I can. So, hard-nosed business, do you know what? It could be. It could be. I think anything is possible at the moment, and it's easy to speculate about what we don't know rather than not. Right, 22:43. I think that is that. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate being here. From Studio One, my name's Liam, and you've been watching the Greatland Gold live thingies. It really doesn't work, this outro thingy, so I'm just going to give my tagline. Sorry, Mum. And that's me. I'm off. How do I shut this thing off now? I never remember. At least when you do a recorded show, you can... My name's Liam, and you've been watching... podcast, YouTube channel. And then you can have like this fancy outro with music and all that business. And everyone's like, wow, look at that. Oh, yeah, it's really cool. Whereas now, live, don't know what to do. So, yeah, there's the thank you button. I'm out. I still didn't do it right after all that. Ha! Hilarious.